Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, a state senator speaking out tonight in defense of Minnesota businesses reopening.
New guidance on who should and shouldn't get a COVID vaccine shot.
Plus, who's next in line for the vaccine? Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
More than 800 healthcare workers have been vaccinated for COVID-19 in North Dakota. As that number continues to climb, officials are monitoring side effects, ranging from minor pain to the possibility of severe allergic reactions.
Valley News Team's Katie Opperly has a checklist that you can follow to determine who's at risk and who is safe to roll up their sleeve.
Officials have deemed Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine safe, with typical side effects being mild.
The most common side effects are injection site pain, fatigue, headache, and muscle pain.
However, Wednesday, a health worker in Alaska with no history of vaccine allergies had a severe reaction. Health leaders are continuing to assure that this will be extremely rare, and you should only avoid getting the vaccine if you have a history of allergic reactions.
If you have a history of a severe allergic reaction, anaphylaxis to a previous vaccine or injectable therapy, then you should not be vaccinated for COVID-19.
Howell says this is the only group of people that should not get the vaccine. If you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or have an immunocompromising condition such as HIV, experts say you can get the vaccine. However, they caution you should consult your doctor to weigh your risk of disease versus the potential risk of side effects.
We get this question probably most often: should people who have previously had COVID disease be vaccinated? And ACIP's recommendation is yes.
At this time, officials are also saying that people with other types of allergies like food, latex, or pollen are able to get the vaccine. Experts say the only other reason you should not roll up your sleeve is if you receive a different vaccine within 14 days or if you've received antibodies or convalescent plasma within 90 days. They say there's not enough knowledge on whether or not the vaccine would interfere with that treatment. In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
If you'd like to read the current guidance from the CDC, we have it posted on our website, valleynewslive.com. Go there and click on this story.
Employees at Essentia in Fargo and Altru in Grand Forks were able to start being vaccinated today. Essentia received 775 doses of the vaccine, Altru 450 doses. The state has received roughly 7,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine and ordered roughly 13,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine. If it's approved tomorrow, currently healthcare workers are the only group being vaccinated. People in long-term care facilities will be added December 27th. State leaders are meeting this Sunday to discuss who's next.
Some are questioning why some hospitals have their vaccines already while others have to wait. Sanford received its vaccines at least a day before the state health department did. State leaders say it's because Sanford's shipment was large enough that it received it directly from the federal government rather than being distributed by the state. The Pfizer vaccine comes in packages of 1,000, so the health department has to break it down into smaller packages. Moderna's vaccine, which could be on its way next week, comes in packages of 100, which would make it easier for small hospitals in the state to receive.
The Spirit Lake Nation is expecting its first doses of the vaccine to arrive next week. They chose to partner with the state. Tribes also had the choice of partnering with the federal government. Tribal Chairman Doug Yankton says they plan to vaccinate essential healthcare workers first, followed by the elderly and vulnerable. No one under the age of 16 will receive a vaccine. The tribe plans to convert a testing facility into a vaccination facility.
If need be, we may also say, well, we're getting a number of people wanting to take the shot and it's readily available. We might include our ambulatory staff and use that as another site. So we just try to think of these extra plans to, speed up the process.
Yankton says they're prepared to receive both brands of the vaccine.
COVID infections and hospitalizations are trending downward in the state of North Dakota, but that may be impacted by data problems and delayed reports from the state health department. There were 117 fewer hospitalizations reported compared to the earlier report. However, the health department says caseworkers are playing catch up with the numbers. A surge in COVID cases in October and November put them behind in updates. COVID-19 restrictions remain in place for now, and that's to keep hospitalization rates down during the holidays.
We're worried about all gatherings, whether they're in public establishments, public places, or in homes, because transmission can occur any place. And I think that we know that traditionally in North Dakota, as North Dakotans, we gather for holidays.
While infection rates and hospitalizations are on the downswing, the death rate remains about the same.
As more East Grand Forks restaurants continue to open their doors, defying Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's order, the governor today extended the order even further, keeping indoor dining closed through the holidays. Tonight, the state senator representing East Grand Forks is speaking out, calling the move an insult. Valley News Team's Stacey Van Dyke has the story.
Just another extension of already bad policy that we've been seeing through this year.
Minnesota Senator Mark Johnson represents East Grand Forks, where another restaurant, Joe's Diner, has now reopened, saying it's their only choice.
They didn't have money for rent, they didn't have money for their electric bill, they didn't have money for their phone bill.
Joe's story isn't unique.
My neighbor, who is getting vehicles repossessed because they own a restaurant and they can't pay the bills, they can't pay their staff, they are hurting. And then the governor gets up there and says, I understand.
The governor saying the move is necessary, and the attorney general vowing to back him up.
All of those things are to bring an end to this long, dark winter of COVID-19.
Joe tells us he's already heard from the AG's office threatening to fine him $25,000 a day, or for every hour he remains open.
I'll sit in jail as long as my employees are taken care of.
The Boardwalk Bar and Grill in East Grand Forks, which opened a week ago, is also caught up in the battle. They've been fined and served a cease and desist letter.
These aren't pure criminals that are out there defying the mandate that's going on right now. They have their backs up against the walls.
The Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association tweeted that less than 2% of COVID cases are traced back to bars and restaurants, calling the governor's move shameful and unjust.
I guarantee he has not missed a paycheck. I guarantee he hasn't had to look those employees in the eyes and say, we're going to have to let you go.
But Johnson says even as a senator, there's not much he can do. He says he voted to remove the governor's emergency powers to no avail.
But with emergency powers, you see that he's continuing to make those calls independently by himself with his office and allowing us to know what they are moments before he announces them. So that, to me, that we have no ability to affect policy with him.
Senator Johnson calls the new $217 million relief package a Band-Aid, saying the only true fix is reopening. In East Grand Forks, Stacey Van Dyke, Valley News Live.
Aside from bars and restaurants, Governor Walz wants to move forward with opening other things up. Youth sports and group fitness classes can start again on January 4th. Indoor entertainment is set to reopen January 11th. And he plans to bring elementary students back full-time starting January 18th. For a full breakdown of the governor's new order, you can download the VNL News app. You can find the story on our homepage.
Slippery road conditions were a factor in this mess north of Thompson this afternoon. It's considered a one-vehicle crash, although several more were involved. A semi pulling a car hauler lost control and rolled. The driver, a 42-year-old man from Michigan, was taken to Altru in Grand Forks. Authorities say he lost control of the semi. It entered the median before rolling on its side. His cargo included new vehicles that were being transported to local dealerships.
Later on Valley News Live at 10, we'll tell you where Santa took down a group of drug dealers.
But first, some parts of the valley are dealing with slippery conditions. Will that continue into the Thursday morning commute? Hutch lets us know next.